It's always been a pleasure to meet sports persons during my work and career as a sports journalist, but never in my career before or my reporting days have I met someone who plays sports at the international level and works as an arts conservationist as well. That's why we are here at the Choskar House, a restored building where we are going to meet the player Noor Jahan, who plays for the Indian women's ice hockey team here in Ladakh. Let's go upstairs.
Where we are at the moment, it's called Choskar House. It's a 200-year-old house that has been restored. Idea behind this restoration was to bring, to make some use of this abandoned house. I had crossed this narrow alley many times, but somehow I never looked up and saw the beautiful house that that this was.
But that's not all Noor is known for. She has another love, ice hockey.
I've been playing ice hockey as far as I remember. Growing up in Ladakh, here the winters are long, and as a kid, what do you do? If you want to go outdoors, there's plenty of ice around. So if before ice skating or this standing on ice skates, we had these small sledges that every kid would have, and we would go on ice slopes and skate on those sledges. And we call it sicketing here. Eventually when we would go to our, so for me in Skara, my village, we have a pond over there. It's actually a reservoir, water reservoir, from where in summer water goes to all the fields. And in winter it freezes, and I would go there because it was close to my grandfather's house. And whenever I would go there, I slowly started noticing that people were now coming on ice skates and ice, they were skating and playing hockey. My cousin brother was also playing ice hockey, so I went to him and I would I would ask him, can I borrow your skates for some time? Can I learn? Can you teach me how to do? So then he was like, okay, I have a solution for you and I have something for you. And he got me these, we call it Jangi boot actually now. And then I came to know that we have a local club over here, and Ladakh Winter Sports Club, and there you can, they were giving coaching camps and doing development camps. And I really wanted to be a part of it. And that's where I met most of the hockey players that I play with now.
Besides arts and sports, Noor never misses a chance to ride a bike, something that brings her a lot of joy.
I've loved seeing people riding bikes and motorbikes, and I think the first time I rode was with my another cousin. If I'm working for somebody else, if I'm freelancing for another organization, what I do is that I put all my stuff with them, I send it in a taxi or something, and then I ride to the site and I keep my bike over there, so then I can go around. So I've been doing that for many years.
Noor moved to Delhi for higher education and was in for a surprise and a sort of cultural shock at the beginning.
When I was here in my school, I was doing pretty good, and when I went to Delhi, I realized I stand nowhere. I mean, for me it was a little depressing moment because period, because you realize you are in a rat race. Then every summer holiday you come back to Ladakh, we came back to Ladakh, and then in winters I was coming back somehow for ice hockey as well. And when I came here, it's just by accident I saw some conservators working here, and when I saw them, really it brought back something inside me. And when I tried to find out, I did my research and found out that there are there is National Museum Institute in New Delhi where you can pursue a master's in art conservation, and then you have Delhi Institute of Heritage and Management. I grew up in a society or a place like Ladakh where you have so much of culture, you have so much of heritage, and and then I was I knew that I wanted to do this, and I really feel that I met the right people. So, and then ice hockey was also happening at the same time, so many things got intertwined, and but somehow it never clashed. I never had to choose between one or the other. It just it's a very harmonious situation at the moment where I don't have to think about if I want to pursue ice hockey or if I want to do this, because fortunately both are seasonal at the moment, where ice hockey is very much like, winter oriented, and then, I have art conservation, which is like, now I'm doing some work in winters as well, but most of the site work anyway happens only in summers because there's like it gets too cold to work in winters.
Previously considered a men's game in Ladakh, the women players faced their share of challenges when they started playing ice hockey.
I think we've seen our share of challenge when it comes to like, fundings, when it came to gears, when it came like for everything. And as you said, that it's not a mainstream sport. It's a sport that is developing in the country at the moment. Playing in the pond, now we are talking about having an ice rink here. It's a change. Infrastructure is coming in. We started our Ladakh Women Ice Hockey Foundation, and in 2015. After realizing that we were somehow like, we were not getting the same opportunity, we were not getting the same number of equipments that we actually deserved. So once we had the organization, once we started this organization, things became much more smooth. We go to different villages, we do camps 7 days, 10 days, whatever is possible. We take the guests that are with us. The best part about doing such camps is that you see, it's also easy to convince the parents. We are a group of women coming to the villages, and they take this as an inspiration that they want their girls to grow up and be as independent and play this sport. If I love ice hockey so much, it's because of the community, the love for this sport that comes together as a whole, rather than me loving it, as an individual. It's just like the entire community loves it so much that you are it just glows in your eyes, and when you say ice hockey, you'll see sparks in people's eyes. And then we have Aisha Foundation. They have supported us for our training program. When we went to Thailand recently, they had supported us. And then on top of everything, we are bringing something back to the country. I think that one of the things that we always see is you always have to prove yourself, and I think we have proven ourselves again and again. So there is progress, there is a lot of progress. I think the change is little gradual. Maybe sometimes I feel like it's frustrating to see that it's also slow, but the positive side is that at least something is happening rather than the sport dying completely. Now we have Royal Enfield. Sai is also taking interest in having a ice hockey arena here. So there's a lot of things happening around ice hockey at the moment.
Noor's heart clearly beats for both her love for art conservation as well as ice hockey, and she hopes she doesn't have to pick one anytime soon.
Art conservation as it is, it'll continue throughout. It's from where I earn, and it's what I'm supposed to be doing, and I love doing it. And at the same time, with ice hockey, it's something that I cannot even imagine not playing or not being a part of. A time will come when I'll have to manage. I can't even imagine not doing any choosing between the two. It'll work out.
The Indian women's hockey team, including Noor, can never forget the day when they stood in the rink and the national anthem played in the background.
2017, 8th March actually, and when we played against Philippines and won our first international game. As athletes, when you are wearing your Indian jersey, one thing that you dream about is you want to listen to the national anthem, you want to listen to your country's national anthem being played after you win a particular match. And the day when we played against Philippines and we won that game, I think that that is a moment that none of us will ever forget. I mean, we heard the national anthem, we were able to sing the national anthem along, and just crying along and rejoicing, everything, all those emotions, everything was coming together. And I think that particular day is something that I'll never forget till I die.
It was a pleasure and experience to be here. A restored building, as we told you, Choskar House, and above that meeting Noor Jahan, who is doing fabulous work in terms of art conservation as her first career, and playing ice hockey as well for India. Thank you, Noor, for having us, and it was something that we haven't experienced before, a sports person in India doing art conservation as well as playing for India.
It's a pleasure, and I'm really happy that you could come and see the work that we've been doing here, and it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure we'll cross paths
Yes.
in the future as well.